Siyabonga isigaba sethu lesi sisifake isihloko sathi defining Gukurahundi. It's a very difficult topic because we don't have a definition as yet. But before you get into this, I wanted to give you a little background considering the nature of this particular workshop. But I will also not draw examples from home, because if you draw examples from home, they touch people differently. We don't want today in a workshop to use our hearts. We want to use our minds. So it's safer if we draw examples from outside our situation, because we are detached. We can talk about it. But if you draw an example about your own experience, about your own mother, about your father, about your grandfather, you will stop thinking, because you will have overwhelmed by feelings. I'm bringing some of the quotes I just got to say, because war is associated with men, and the numbers of dead are always the number of men who are fighting. Whereas in a genocide, in my view, the key victim wears a female face. The main victim wears a female face. In my view, the genocide must target a woman. Why? Why should it target a woman? War is usually a business of what? Of men, and it's understood the place there. But now when it moves to genocide, the target becomes a woman. Why? I would. That could be part of the reason, but they can't fight back. Well trained, Yebo. Ngiyayithanda leyo. Uyabayangisa. Sizabuya kulokho usi. But most important, who is the carrier of the future nation? So nxa sithe sizebhuqa abantu, sithela abantu asinjani? Asisabafuni lapho. If you kill men, asizaqhubeka bafazi bezala. Abantu benu kungasala indoda eyodwa bazasala sibili. Angithi inhlanyelo yonjani? Ngoba ozalayo ngubani? Umfazi. So nxa ufuna ukubaqeda vele uthaketa bani? Ngoba yibo abanjani? Abazala isizwe. Ngiyakuzwisisa? Yibo abazalani isizwe. So when kuthiwa genocide is a crime against humanity, yabela usuthi kuvelela umuntu lo uthi nze khucula. And nxa ukhucula, you can't leave women and children. Ngiyakuzwisisa? And you see cases where, of course, atrocities will be more on men. But if the atrocities are on men, wafike nkhaya, bathathe ukhulu, bamkhulu, bathathe utata, bathathe abafowenu, bababulale in front of you. Abambuleleyo kakhulu vele ngubani? Ngubani abambulele kakhulu? Nguwe phela uyi-witness, is that not so? Ngoba mina kufika bambulale, nabangithatha bambulale first, ngiyabe ngakwazi la lizosala sifa. So i-pain yami is less, it's just about me. Ozabulawa last, uzaba le pain yami, abe le pain yakho, abe le pain kalo, laye uvele banjani? So women tend to be killed last, after the humiliation, after the torture, after seeing all the men die, and in the end of the day, they what? They die. You see the gender dimensions of a genocide. Let us go and crush them. I'm just quoting this. It's not from Zimbabwe, it's from Nigeria. But there was a serious genocide in Nigeria. And you must go and read about it, I'll give you literature. Let's go and crush them. We will pillage their property, rape their women for, kill their men, and leave them uselessly weeping. Who would be uselessly weeping? Ngoba obaba banjani? Babulewe, bona sebenjani? Sebezwe ngolo. Do you get the gender dimensions of a genocide? Abesebuye omunye ujournalist athi in northern Nigeria, numerous Biafran housewives and nursing mothers were raped before their husbands and children. I-rape in a normal situation umuntu urape yedwa ngithi. Genocide kuthiwa uyandize njani? Lizobona. Do you separate now the genocide and the war? Because the perpetrator of a genocide uzathi bekuyimpi. But kumele wazi ama-symptoms. Ungambona sesithi uyandize ebukela selikwazi sisekho empini la sesengaphi? Sesiku-genocide. Ngoba this aims to humiliate, as you say. It must humiliate, it must dehumanize, it must do everything. In a genocide, you don't just destroy biologically. You also destroy psychologically. You also destroy culturally. We are fig. I'm not talking about Zimbabwe, I'm talking elsewhere. I figure that long bani, hayi ngindodana yalapha long bani, umama walapha. At let them have sex. While everyone else is what? Is watching. What is it destroying there? Because every culture, anywhere in the world, it avoids incest, it punishes incest. Related people cannot have what? Intercourse. But in a genocide, that becomes the order of the day. Ngoba laba bantu tayise bantu. And usubuchitha ubuntu babo. Killing them is not enough. Killing the people back is not enough if their culture exists, if their traditions exist, if their respect exists. So while you destroy them biologically, also destroy them physically, mentally, psychologically, culturally, spiritually. Break it. You go sit in Do you get it? This one is even worse. It's still in Nigeria. Uti young girls were abducted from their homes. Not girls, but young girls, which means they were still pre-pubertal. Working places and schools, and forced into sexual intercourse with who? With sick, demented, and leprous men. Guys, this is genocide. Tata mankazana wonke esigabeni asesemancane kuthiwe kadliwe ngulo ngobani amadoda agulayo alobulephero aphambeneni ukwenzelani. There might be a product there. There might be a product of the rape. Ufuna product yana nxa ingaphuma ingalast. Ngoba izalwa umuntu onjani? Ogulayo. Do you get it? Because if you set out to kill people, it's an odious, difficult task. So you plan other means other than the mass killing. Because they are talking of a what? Of mass killing. But the genocide is cultural, is mental, is psychological, is spiritual, is religious, is sexual. So those are some of the things that you need to understand from outside. It's not from here, but it's a genocide elsewhere. There is a genocide also that took place in Bangladesh. Funa namhlanje ifundi history izwisisa. IBangladesh kenjenga. Andilithana uhamba. Where is Bangladesh? Ngakho sokwafika eBangladesh. Right. When the British were ruling India, British esabusa ngaphi? India. Ukuthi British Empire is so big that the sun never set. Yakuzwisa ukuthi ukuthi abanye bevuka ngapha, abanye belala konke under one roof angithi. Ngoba iBritain ayilombuso osuka ngaphi? From India khona le kusiyachaya New Zealand kuzechaya Africa njalo njalo. So India was the glory of the British what empire. Kodwa India ithe isiyathola i-independence kwenzakalayo kwaba ne-partition. Bagcina ama-Indians bengasithi yithi sihlale sindawonye. Lokho esakwenza thina e-Africa e-India bathi bona thina lapha kulama-Muslim nama-Hindu siyaba ilizwe lani-one. Kwasokuvulekani ilizwe okuthiwa yi-Pakistan. And you know there is Pakistan. So ngo-1948 when India got its independence, i-India yaba yodwa, i-Pakistan yaba yodwa on the basis of religion. On the basis of the first country to be formed on the basis of religion was Pakistan. Kwaba yi-partition. Fine kwaba ngama-skirmishes. Kodwa bathi bavumela ukuthi hayi nxa sithatha ilizwe lali liyathathwa kwenu la siyathatha owethu. So i-Pakistan yaba le-East Bengali ye-West. Laba basesiba yini? Ama-Muslim bodwa angithi. Labana bese-East bagcina bethathelwa izinto eziningi zisiyafida bangabi aba-West bagcina besithi kanti manje independence yakhona injani. Bathi la sesifunani independence abantu bathi eyani futhi independence siyitholile. Bathi hayi phela thina lana asijani asifana asikhanya silingana sithola okufanayo. Lwana wathi phela nxa laba sebethola independence kuthi thina sizashotani ukudla okuvela ngaphi e-East. So iPakistan yaqalisa ukwenzani ukubulalana abantu beprovince yabo abagcina bethola independence yabo besiba yini iBangladesh. But amasotsha ePakistan athi angakaphumi e-East Bengal egcina siba iBangladesh barepa 500,000 Bangladesh women. I want you to understand how sex is a weapon in a genocide. There is this dimension. So your role as the girl's tab and the gender dimension of the genocide, it is in your tab, it is within your sphere. Mobi genocide, it targets what? Those wearing a female face. And the majority obvious are women. But in our daughter, we can also be feminized. I think our daughter, they can also be feminized. Also, you cease to be a man. You become also feminine. You get the point. So we should understand the is about power dimensions. So on the definition on Gukurahundi, I don't intend to give you the definition of whether Gukurahundi is a genocide or not. Mine is to characterize it. La local. When I also define it as a what? Whether you want to define it as a genocide or you don't define it as a genocide. All genocides are always in dispute. Even today, there are people who say the genocide, the worst genocide ever recorded against the Jews, or 6 million Jews. You get the point? So now don't think it's new. That shows what it was a genocide. You get the point? Now I said, I see you. It shows what you must say pigger. It shows what you. So for me, I suppose qualify. I will only characterize it. But people might say, what is Gukurahundi? What is the definition? The original name Gukurahundi. It's not the original. It's a metaphor. It's a carried expression. I see original name of the word Gukurahundi. Gukurahundi is a shorter word referring to heavy rains that wash away chaff. Izulu Gukurahundi angithi elithilingana ngesikhotho esikhulu sikhucule yonke ini ingcekeza iye ngaphi kusale sekunjani sekukuhle. Yeyizwe incazelo lizulu elinjani elesikhotho elina ngobukhulu ini ulaka line likhuculeli ingcekeza yonke iye ngaphi iye khatshana kusale sekunjani sekukuhle. Ayikho i-genocide eyathi iyona You should understand that concept. Every genocide aims to leave the nation pure, the nation pious, the nation at its greatest without what? Amapeta umbama. So itathani, it will be killing mwenzeni, ubulaleni, into lengcolisani, isizwe. You get the point. But this name was used for the first time. MP ni Sisalwa Lamakiwa. Robert Mugabe, as the commander-in-chief of Zanda, said 1979 was the year of Gukurahundi. Yoko umnyaka okhomba ukuthi kwakumele kudliwe kakhulu, uchaye abantu babesincindezele banjani? Bahambe khathala sale silo kanje sile independence. Asazi ukuba kusayenzakalanga kuhle ngendlela ayifuna. So uyabuya ngo-1982 utrainani another brigade. Ade seyitrainile sekupass out parade kubonakale iflag yabo anti amasotsha kunjengama-team ebhola anti lo ngamaflag wenu ngoba amabhejini angithi bese kubonakala ibheji liyana iflag liyana e-5th brigade ubhalweni Gukurahundi. Anti lazi ukuthi iGukurahundi for iyadlula ngobani ngo-1979 and yayiqondile. So abantu besithi atukhadiwe futhi ukuthi uyasupport iGukurahundi ye eka 1979 ukhadiwe kanjani uyisupporta phela yayize kulwa lani labantu ababesincindezele sisale sikhululekile njengabantu abanjani. But nxa isibuya ngo-1982-83 sokuthiwa kule Gukurahundi sesizibuza ukuthi kanti le isize njani, isize thatha yiphi ingcekeza futhi ngoba sokusele thina sodwa, sokusele thina sodwa sifanele sibe njani, sibe lapha. Kodwa nansi iGukurahundi yenjani yebo. Yeah, ukwezi i-voice once barecorda i-voice.
I wanted to ask the own definition.
It's the rain. It talks about the rain. The real definition is just describing the rain that washes away chaff. But language by its nature, we extend a meaning. We extend a meaning to another. She can greet her and say, yes, in fun. She won't take offense. Uyabe kuzwisisa ukuthi umfana could refer only to him specifically. But now when we vote besithi yes mfana, uyakuzwisisa is taking that meaning to mean the comrade. So words always get transferred. So the word Gukurahundi is not a bad word. It never was intended to be a bad word in its original setup, as well as in its first idiomatic expression in 1979. Yayiqondile sibili ukuthi 1979 orere Gukurahundi amakhiwa lo nyaka senjani drive them out ngoba bebe yini bona bebengafananga phela babusa ilizwe lengasilo lapho badle bodwa futhi amakhiwa engasubusi kuphela hayi sidla bodwa. You get the point. There was a reason for Gukurahundi in 1979. But in 1982-83, iGukurahundi size dingani phela ngoba ingcekezi sinjani isihambile. But I'm not going to define it that way. I'm only saying the name was now used now to refer to the brigade as the Gukurahundi. The campaign was also called the Gukurahundi. And now the period says referred to now as what? As Gukurahundi. So, bona banikazi beGukurahundi bayazonda nxa sikhuluma ngani ngeGukurahundi wasikhuluma ngento esingayasiyo bathi ikhuluma ngento enjani elingayaziyo selisithi yonke iperiod yana yini eyiGukurahundi. Of course there is a danger of reducing Gukurahundi to 5 brigades as if the perpetrators of mass killing and mass murders and rape was done by 5th brigade. If it's 5th brigade, you are saying it was done by 5,000 men. So let's calculate with it. 5,000 men, evulala one each for 4 years. But we had the police, we had the intelligence services, we had the other brigades in the army, we had the youth militia, we had the ZANU-PF members. All of them were what? We killing. It's on record. All of them were what? We killing. So 5th brigade is actually a restrictive term because it gives the impression that only one brigade was what? Was involved. It could have been the lead, but it doesn't mean it was the only one. Everyone with official power could kill you. In a many way. So that's the meaning of the term. But what is a genocide? According to its definition, it is acting with intent. With intention. Acting with intention. To destroy. This is to destroy, which is why abazama uvala ngempi. Impi is not to destroy. Impi is to overcome your enemy. But if you are destroying, that's now not the war. That is genocide. That is what? Genocide. Destroy in whole or in part. We suffered a genocide. No, it's not a genocide, because if you are a genocide, you will not be there. No, each genocide does not need to wipe everyone. It can kill just a part. But the genocide is the intention. Whether it will happen during that operation years, 2 years or 3 months, or years later, the intention is the same. When you plant a seed, or you are planting the bomb to explode and finish the people. So that's why I will not say Gukurahundi was a genocide. I would just say I would characterize it. Each person must judge it. Impose a definition of a Quran. And who are the targets of a genocide? It must be a national group, an ethnic group, a racial group, or a religious group. Ungabuthi hayi ngizebulala amankazana ade esendaweni engaka hayi siyo genocide. Ngaze babulala baqede siyakuthi hayi mass murder. Imassacre ayisiyoni genocide. So abantu babuya bethi no, but ku genocide eRwanda kwafa imillion yani singaba genocide. Laphana kwafa 20,000. Hayi genocide. Wezobulela abangu2. Okukhulu intention yokuthi umbulala umuntu lo ngomhlobo kumbe ngolima linjani alukhulumayo. So it means I want to put atomic bomb does not make your charge of genocide less. It can be whole, like the Europeans did in America, or it can be in part, as in other places. So that's the look. And also we need to understand, I'll give you this reference, on the who characterizes genocide. He started with 8 characters, but after improvement, by 8 are 2. With a classification, with all cultures classify people as us and this as them. Now, victims of genocide. Labana abantu lithi bayikuthi andi akunasizwe esingalama bizo ukuchothoza abanye abantu. Kodwa kuqalela khonapho. Then discrimination. Abantu in a genocide, if there is discrimination, I know as Zimbabwe you call it marginalization. You are afraid of using discrimination. You think discrimination is a strong word, but now umuntu obuyeqhatsha abantu bevela 300 400 kilometers away wena ukhona khona banomsebenzi ungawenza. You want to call that marginalization? No, it's called discrimination. And the people can be discriminated by policy, by law, or by just practice. Na khuluma ukuthi ungazobuya eclassini yami ubhara umhloliso wami usozopasa. Uzabona wena ngoba usujani usufile kungalamthetho ngawudinga ukuthi umthetho lo unjani uyangibandlulula. You understand discrimination? It's in many ways. Then the most crucial one is dehumanization. Esisaxoxa ngayo. Mehlise angabi ngumuntu. Uthi zinsikizi yakhumbula umuntu wesithi abantu yini? Athi zinsikizi. Into eyisinengiso nje. Reduce it to something that is not human. So that now usukucleaner. Ungazwa ubuhlungu ngoba ukhuphani ingcekeza isizwe sisale sinjani? Simsulwa. Yasizwe esiphethe genocide. Sithi singenza genocide sizosala sesinjani? sesimsulwa, sesipure. So dehumanization, you put hate propaganda, strong words against them. You could say, we are going out to take their property, rape their women, kill their men. They will remain weeping, useless. And I like that quotation. Every genocide has a purpose. Every genocide has a purpose. And the purpose is not hate, Zimbabweans. That's nonsense. But I don't kill you because I hate you. Each genocide is a purpose, and most of the purpose is economic. There is a benefit. There is a what? A benefit. When we talk of genocide, we say there is a perpetrator, there is a victim, there is a beneficiary. There is a so I'm innocent. You are not innocent. If your forefathers perpetrated a genocide, when we beneficiary. But in genocide, there is organization. It's always organized. It's never what I person zondeka cool. Angithi nxa lifuna ukuganga lithi umuntu aqala yena atutshwala ngoba ibhembanja bese kuye sithi bese njani? Kathi uzochaya umuntu ubulimaza kangaka bese nginjani? Bese ngitakiwe bese ngizonde kakhulu ayo la bese ngicaphulile manje ngokuthi abuye lesikomba sakhe lesiyana phambi kwami angithi. But genocide is organized. Polarization izizwe ziyehlukaniswa phakathi kube lokuzondana kungasangenelana. Preparation kuyafana lokuzela. There are always leaders, they plan it. There is preparation. There is persecution. You victimize your targets. Abanye baqala ngokuxotsha emsebenzini. Angithi. Bayaqala ngozani? Kuthi emsebenzini abanye basebe-integrate sebeba army kodwa lina njengama-13 baxoxa emsebenzini bathini idudule ezindawo kuba lokhu yi-persecution. Then ususazi ukuthi the next and the final stage, we call it extermination. We don't even use the word killing. Ngoba obulalayo he won't be thinking or she won't be thinking it's killing. Uyabe sithi wenzani? Uya exterminate njengoba umuntu obulala amagondwane lamawu. That's what genocide is. No genocide perpetrator believes ukuthi uyimedara. Uthi ngabulala bani? Ngoba wena ungasuye umuntu nxa sekubulala. Usuyini? Uyingcekeza yena ubethanyela nje. Ukhathi abantu bangisolela ukuthi mina ngahamba ngathanyela ngalungisela isizwe. Angithi I won't quote someone. Kumele lifice ku literature. Owathi liyawazi umsebenzi omuhle ngiwenzileyo. Lina sezibhanqa selibuyisele emuva umsebenzi wami kanjani engawenzayo. But the last point that is important, and I will explain why we have to give this characterization. Every genocide has a denial stage. They will deny it. The perpetrator and the beneficiary will deny a genocide. Kulama genocide enzakale eArmenia ngabo 1915 lokho bewaphika lakathesi. iGerman ayiqalanga ngokuthi genocide against the Jews eqasa lapha eNamibia. They killed the Nama and the elokuzela eNamibia. Lama yirep. Baba bulala physically bathe kodwa sizibabaqede baba driver to the desert. I-desert ayila manzi ayila kudla. So you have to note it. Every genocide has food as a weapon, starvation. Lali bancane ikhambele kuzabazali ukuthi kanti izitolo zazivuliwe yini eKezi lapha eToronto lapha. Kwavalwa isikolo, kwavalwa klinika, kwavalwa shop, kwavalwa ukubasa umlilo. Liyangizwa? Uzapheka njalo ungabasa umlilo. Ungabasa umlilo awufuthi ukulayo lokho ukuthini? Ubasa umlilo ufuna ukwenzani? You understand? So genocides don't count those killed by the soldier, but cool. But how do you count those who died on their own out of starvation and disease? I want that quotation again also from Nigeria, so that singaraise ama emotions. This journalist wafica abantu beBiafra who were being starved. Ikwashiorkor first appeared in Nigeria. The world had not seen Kwashiorkor. Ikwashiorkor ukuthi, that's how nature does things. If you are starved, what happens to your tummy? I wash, instead. You get the iron of it. So this writer, Uti, I saw several hundred of zombie-like creatures. I saw several hundred of zombie-like creatures, men, women, and children, lying, sitting, or squatting in the midst of others who were dead. The living ones were completely reduced to skeletons and could not talk. I was seeing for the first time Kwashiorkor. Frankly, I took fright. I believe that any foreign troops from anywhere in the world occupying this area in Biafra would have shown much more sympathy. Wabafica lekaba abantu abastarved ngoba iNigeria yayi ngesikhathi se-civil war in Biafra yalent genocide yablock ukudla yablock medicine. Impi khona sali ukuthi impi ikhona angithi and they fight bebulalana, but still does not stop the crime of genocide. Ukuthi nxa usuba stop ukudla, that's not war, that's now genocide. So laba bantu they were zombie-like creatures. He didn't even describe them as human beings because he just said they were men, women, and children. But they were zombie-like creatures. They could not talk. Their voice they test. They could not talk. They skeleton. But the Nigerian Minister of Finance said, no. That is a fair fight. We can't feed the people so that they become strong and come and fight us. Are you familiar with that? We can't feed people so that they become strong and... Your Prime Minister then, Robert Mugabe, said, when we fight, we don't choose. What when we fight, we don't choose. So, ungazona inkulumo isinjalo isiphuma from war isingabi, how can you not choose? Now usa choose usuyi-genocide usuyi-perpetrator. So abantu bathi abula bufakazi ukuthi hayi but ubufakazi bukhona. The statements by your leaders were clear. Abantu, they were stopped from cooking, from opening shops, from eating. There is a statement which said lidla imbuzi, lidla inkukhu, lidla izinja, bese lisidlani abantu abenu, bese lisidla umngeni, bese liqedisa ngama-distant. So starvation as a weapon is known in all genocide. If you go and look at when Eastern Europe was liberated from the Nazis, the Germans, bevula the largest camp, a concentration camp in Auschwitz, over Poland. Bafika these zombie-like creatures. Amajuda lana ayikuthelele ngoba ama-Germans and abantu be-efficiency babebabulala industrial kilometers sebulala 10,000 or 100,000 bafake kuma-chambers bafake igas aziphuma ngalezi zindlela sokuphelile, you know. So but impi yasiphela basebethi ba-defeated bengakabaqede angithi abantu bathi wavula bathi hayi, these people who had never seen a human being reduced like that. That was seen in 1945. But lapha sikhuluma ngento ka-1970. The Nigerians also do it. Sitheni with definition of Kalian. Genocides will still continue to multiply because those who perpetrate it can hide it, can get away with it. And they do get away with it. That's the painful thing I will reveal to you today. The majority of those who perpetrate genocide have gotten away with it because world powers are sitting on successful genocides. Ngizwile. Ngithe those who should be doing something, labo ba-perpetrate genocide banjalo nje ngoba labo ba-benefita from what? So nxa ususithiwa ngizwa ukuthi wena ingane la ulapha ngani ngalokho engikwenzayo. That is none of your business ngoba nawe wanjani? You successfully. So in Zimbabwe, now coming home to the definition, which I'm not going to but I give the outline. In Zimbabwe, there is no argument among Zimbabweans whether those are victims, whether those are perpetrators, whether those are beneficiaries, that something very bad happened in Material. Akula muntu okuphika ukuthi okwenzakala eMathebeleni ndakukho njani kuhle. Abathi ukuthi kodwa kwakuyi genocide. Yawuza mesho. Everyone agrees, victim, perpetrator, and a beneficiary. Also, there is no dispute that victims need decent burials. Akula muntu okuphikayo ngathi hey amathambo ayavela la ofuzwe babhoda lapha labo unqube lapha labo unyathi. Bathi hey kula mathambo la hayi ukhulumeni ngathi hayi akwenziwe something amathambo kanjani angcwatshwe decent. So Zimbabweans generally are agreed that victims must get decent burials. And the Zimbabweans are also agreed that those who suffered and survived must get a form of compensation. Akula muntu okuphikayo lokho. Akula muntu njani okuphikayo. Pho inkinga ke ngaphela ukuthi the problem can be solved. The problem is definition. Kwakuyini? What was Gukurahundi? Siyevuma ukuthi kwenzakala futhi kumele kulungiswe kube lama decent burials. Laba moshakala abalahlekelwa yilokhu lalokhu bazuzeni i-compensation yempahla ezacithekayo. But Zimbabwe is not yet defined what Gukurahundi was or what it is. Because of that, ngulola lo uphuma le yakhe i-narrative. Ukhade kule narrative yakhe. Ule narrative yakho, umade kule narrative yakhe, la ule narrative yakho. Likuzwisisa why the narratives are multiple and sometimes confusing. These narratives have tended to group around three themes. Narratives around period, narratives around the drivers or the causes of conflict, and then the narratives that push on human rights perspective. Abantu abaningi abakhuluma ngeze Gukurahundi bavela kubani? Human rights world. So bakubona from a human rights perspective. Ngoba we are here for critical thinking. Asibuyanga kuzakwamukela anything. We have come here to be critical, so that yonke into siyicubungile from a critical perspective. What is our problem with those who view Gukurahundi using period or periodization? It uses a historical approach of the causes and the effects, and hence it puts a period. Gukurahundi yaqala la yagcina la. City genocide has no start, has no finish. Over. Its effects can last intergenerational. So on a certain date end, also exclude the victims intergenerational. But they are still what? Victims. Also exonerate the benefits intergenerational. Abelungu babesithi nxa basebehlezi kuhle. But we worked hard for this. We always abelungu. But we have these farms, we have these mines, we have these nice houses, where you were not allowed to stay. But it's because we worked hard. No, but you took land for free and they drove us out of our land and they took our cattle for free. Now you are saying you are farm owners. You get the point. Because what's we intergenerational. So basically sithi hayi thina vele asifuni into lobanjilo into emhlobo le asifuni asihlaleni ngani ngokuzwanana siyazwanana njani uhambile inkomo zalo ngo1000 nasara ngalaluthi. You get the argument. So in periodization, from this perspective, we find fault in it. Well, it is periodization that gives us Baba Fuzwayo 20 January as a start and the 22 December 1987 as an end. We find fault with that because it focuses on 5 brigades operations only. But the genocide was broader than that, and there are incidents that happened before the Berkeley's entumbani, the Berkeley's econemara, the Berkeley's eslalachani, the Berkeley's eseke stungwiza, and all those never come in now. But it ignores conflicts prior to independence. Abantu babulalana eMkakawa, eTanzania. Babulalana eMboro. Babulalana eMozambique. Bebulalana ngemhlobo, the way they were doing sebesekhaya. So if you put a period, labana ke abantwana abafa eMkakawa ukuthi sokumele banjani? Izinja nje kumele sikhohlakaze. But bafela umhlobo just like lo umuntu obuleyo ngo1984. Periodization ignores the roots of the conflict because it's such a period, it will leave certain things out. And it has a tendency to quantify damage numerically. So far, kule 18,000. Abantu abafa ngeGukurahundi bangi 18,000. Kwase kuphuma lo 20,000. Kwaphuma lo bani? Lo 30,000. Those are the figures eziphumayo. I want you to tell you ukuthi owaphuma lo 18,000 umbani. I-18,000 yaphuma ku-CIO. Central Intelligence Organization. Yathi hayi nxa abantu befile abazwili 18,000. I-20,000 iphuma from i-SSJ report yama-NGO. U-Ian Smith esimzonda kangaka. Siyamzonda lami ngiyamzonda. Uthi hayi akufanga abantu aba less than 30,000. Ngenxa ukuthi sithi siyamzonda, sigijima sethatha inamba kabani? Yamasewe esithandayo i-18,000 ephansi. uSmith vele says abantu babo. But I want to tell you something. You are going to read on your own because I want to feed you. I want you to be read and critical. A Rhodesian General Schultz owakhethwayo part of the team eyahamba yakhethwa ngu-Prime Minister then ngo-1983 to investigate iGukurahundi. Othi hamba kwe-commission laba benziwa early iGukurahundi sese-on. So uGeneral Schultz wa-interviewwa ngama-journalist ngo-1980, beginning of 1984. Uthi wena uku-commission le ebi-investigate what is happening materially. Ubona kwenzakalani. Waphuma ngo-1983. What I believe what happened last year, not less than 30,000 Ndebele were killed. Ngo-1983. And the Americans ayithatha information. Athi got into the law. He is a reliable source. Asiyo umuntu olesizathu sokuqambani amanga ngoba abantu ababulawa ngamlungu ababulawa i-army yakhe. So he has no reason. And waye ku-commission leyi yesethe uNkulumente ye-investigate what's happening. Uthi yena 1983 kwafa ngaki 30,000. 1983. But when you go to literature, in literature ithi i-intensity of iGukurahundi yaba higher ngo-1984. If 1983 loli general lisithi kwafa 30,000. Kambe ngo-1984 kwafa ngani? Ngo-1985 ke. Ngo-1986 ke. Ngo-1987 ke. Kodwa lile liyahlala lapha libuye lithi kwafa abantu abaku-30,000. Li-right sibili emakhaya. Are you okay? Umuntu wayekhona ethunywe uNkulumente to find out what's happening. Uthi in 1 year hayi madoda laphana. Ngibone ngani kufa abantu abangafika 30,000 if not more. 1983. Lina ngo-1987 you downgrade the number. Lina angikhuluma abantu bakusathi Mathebelele, ngikhuluma ngani bantu beMathebelele. Yini phelele ima ngobani? Ngo-18,000 we-CIO lo 20,000 wena lamakhatholi. You have done a good job. CCJ report. But still, there are serious distortions. The Catholics in this country, they are the first ones to challenge the government of Zimbabwe over Gukurahundi. They spoke out. They brought everything. But when did they release that report? It's breaking the silence. He released it. 1997. Gukurahundi is again. 1982, 1983, kala ngithi. Wona ba release document ini. 19 1997. Benzeli futhi watered down. I'm sorry to say it because these are facts. And apart from critical, we have to be critical.